The most important dates in the calendar is the 25th of April. Is a date known as Anzac Day and commemorates the Gallipoli landings. The events themselves was a disaster, a military disaster, and over 8,000 Australian troops died at Gallipoli. But out of Gallipoli was born a legend, the legend of Australian mateship, of caring for others, of caring for those who were in need. The Anzac legend grew and has become part of Australia popular culture and our attitude to how we view each other today. That same spirit we saw just recently in December with the bushfires and the outpouring of support for those suffering from the horrific bushfires and the droughts, which now seems a million years ago. And this leads us on to Anzac Day of 2020. This is the first year that there'll be no marches, that none of the soldiers who fought in campaigns will proudly go march down the streets of the major cities, the capital cities. There'll be no crowds this year cheering them on. Why? Because of this coronavirus. The coronavirus has shut down the world and has changed the way that we look at each other and how we respect each other. And what is fascinating is that for this one, it's here the world is inverted. Normally it is the grandparents and the parents who have to step up for their children. In this case, it is children and grandchildren who have been asked to step up to protect their grandparents. We know that if this virus only affected children, parents and grandparents would do anything in their power to protect them. The same has been asked now of the children. Separate yourselves, isolate yourselves to protect our elders. Why is this so important? Because our elders are the custodians of memory and custodians of history. It is the ultimate form of mateship, to be there for someone else, to risk things for those who can't, to put your body on the line to save a friend, a mate. This year, for Anzac Day 2020, we don't have to do any of that. There's no expectation of young people to run into machine gun fire, to protect fellow soldiers, to run under the mortar fire to try and save a colleague who's been struck down. This year, in order to show mateship and to save people, all we have to do is stay at home, wash our hands, and enjoy Netflix. How hard can that really be? Anzac Day is a day which reminds us of what makes Australia great. And what makes Australia great is mateship and caring for other Aussies. And this is what we are going to do this year. Our fight is not with a physical army, but it is just as important. Together, we can defeat them, this virus, and the world can return to normalcy. But the fight to defeat the virus has to be taken on with the same passion and the same commitment and the same sacrifice as was done in times of war. For this is a war, and we know what the cure is. There is no vaccine as yet, but by social distancing, or social separation, should I say, it can be defeated. So on this Anzac Day, when we will be asked to stand silently at home, realize that this is the greatest act of mateship that we can do this year.